Welcome back to Phasma and Djarin's. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hi everyone, welcome back to Phasma and Djarin's, where I discuss Doctor Who and Star Wars. As Ahsoka is in Fall 4 and months away from the 60th anniversary from Doctor Who, I thought it's time for something different. I will explain why I think Djarin is a better parent than Tecteun. Let's begin. Djarin is from Aquatina. He is an adoptee himself when a Mandalorian rescues him when he lost his father in a droid attack. Raised on Concordia in the Ways of the Mandalore after the Great Purge, Tecteun is a Shogun. She became the first of her kind to explore outer space. Unfortunately, there is not much, as that's all we know from what the Master has told us. So, how did they meet their foundlings? Let's get a shift on with it. Djarin had been given a bounty by an Imperial remnant, who is the leftovers of the Great Empire. It's revealed to be a child with Force-sensitive abilities. He returns the bounty back to Navarro, but he changes his mind and saves him, and a bounty is later placed on them both, which we see throughout their journey. They would fight Imperial interests. He would have to rescue his son multiple times, not canon at the time. Let go of Grogu to his Jedi training with Luke Skywalker before reuniting in Mos Espa, helping Boba Fett, who kind of has changed his ways. After training Grogu to be a Mandalorian and stopping a Mandalorian threat on Mandalore, which is now occupied by Mandalorians, he officially adopts Grogu as Din Grogu and becomes his master. He asks Carson Teva to take a job with the New Republic, and the Dins settle on Navarro for now. Tecteun encounters the child, which of course is Doctor, at this boundary. She takes her in for experiments and also adopts the child. After a fall caused by another child, bad child, the child is able to regenerate and change their face. Tecteun keeps on with the experiments that she's been performing on the child, and later makes a breathtaking discovery of Ron when she successfully regenerates into a male body. They are able to contribute to the creation of Gallifrey and become one of the founding fathers of Gallifrey, and they induct the child into the division. They later remove the Doctor's memory into a child. Naughty! I am not happy! Tecteun later creates stuff to destroy her adopted child's universe and calls them a failure while surviving on the border of a new universe. The naughty Tecteun tries to manipulate the Doctor when they are brought to Division HQ and gets her to join them along with another Ood, and unfortunately she's destroyed by Swan in revenge for being an experiment. So they both do treat the child badly at one point, which is of course very prevalent. As I mentioned with Djarin, obviously it is for money because Grogu was a bounty at the time, especially in those first two series. Also, he uses Grogu's determination to help him on Navarro 7 after he is injured by the Mudhorn. On the other hand, Tecteun is kind until they end up using the child for their own gain. And like I've always said, bad Tecteun! So why is the Mandalorian a better parent? Djarin, as he grew into his role, began to learn about Din Grogu's Jedi powers, and he encourages him to use his powers. An example is when he has to fly to get help when his father is in trouble on the Caves of Mandalore, and he can't get him out. What does he do? Grogu gets Bo-Katan frees for help, another legend. Another case is when he is able to win his duel against Grogu when his dad encourages by saying, Grogu, I've seen what you can do. It's okay. Show him. It's one of those moments when Din just knows that he's better than what the child realises, and he just needs to get him to come out and do those powerful moves. And Tecteun, in my personal opinion, never ever grew into this. I mean, look, you look after your child and you don't screw them up. Djarin adopts his son officially so he can become a Mandalorian apprentice after taking back Mandalore and sent to go on their own adventures. Tecteun never gives the child a name. Tecteun, what are you playing at? Why would you not give your child a name? You just... What? The Dins teaming up to stop Moff Gideon is an iconic moment as they fight to successfully take out the Praetorian Guards with a combination of combat and disarmament. They both help Bo-Katan Grease later on defeat Moff Gideon. Once again, they use the same tactics, and Din Grogu ends up becoming a hero by saving his dad and Bo from the destruction. Tecteun would send the child with others. It would have been interesting if they end up teaming up and seeing if they will either work together or clash, because that actually would have been interesting, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Djarin managed to salvage a home for his son on the Razor Crest until it was destroyed by the Imperials when they took his son on Typhon. Justice for Grogu. After the Battle of Mandalore, he accepted a home for him and Grogu from High Magistrate Greef Karga on Nevarro. Tecteun often would have the child on a bed for experiments, but did she treat her rightly? I don't know. We never see. Djarin was a hard warrior, but he did have an emotional side. When he said goodbye to Grogu for Jedi training with Luke Skywalker, which was a short time because he came back, he says, "Hey, go on. That's who you belong with. He is one of your kind. I'll see you again soon. I promise." He then takes his helm off, breaking the rules of the tribe so he can let his son see his face, and the emotion is visible throughout every time we see Din's face after his son walks away. Tecteun does have an emotional moment when they nearly use the child, but unfortunately that changes when they become dependent on staying alive to rule the universe. Finally, Grogu gets a lot more freedom and is able to act like a child. Din manages to let him do his own thing. For the poor child, they're often experimented, always seem to be put in dangerous situation. They forcibly have their memory removed, and then Tecteun returns them to the vision when they're a threat to their plans. Tecteun, what is your problem? Why do you think the Doctor is like a big issue? I want to add before I conclude that Djarin would abandon Grogu in the first season when he would be at risk from creatures like his father's enemies or bounty hunters. Din would improve in series 2 when creatures like the Frog Lady would protect him on Typhon, when he thought Grogu would be protected long enough from the Force mediation whilst he fought off Imperials. Unfortunately, Grogu was powerless by the time the Dark Troopers arrived and they took him to Moff Gideon. There is not much about Tecteun, but she could have done the same when she did experiments on how to evolve her people. From basically what we know, which is not a lot about Tecteun, as it's only in 3 episodes, it's enough to tell me that they're an incompetent parent, and Djarin, in 3 Mando series and 3 extra episodes in the Book of Fett, at the time of recording, he is able to change and re-emerge his son with hidden powers. I mean, Tecteun, you're just acting like... I don't know what I'm going to say. Tecteun enrages me. The thing that they both have in common is that they both feel like they're members of a cult. Why would you say the division is a cult, Leigh? Well, they do act like a cult, but the tribe, Din's Mandalorian cult, changed their ways to accept tribes like the Night Owls, but the division never changed at all. Finally, what do the Doctor and Din Grogu learn from this? The Doctor becomes a hero we all know and love and makes a lot of friends. Not using them Tecteun as you did, it's made them more into who they are. On the other hand, Grogu made his dad a better person and also into a strong one after Djarin saved him. He has become more powerful thanks to Ahsoka Tano, his dad, and Luke Skywalker, given the chance to bring back his hidden powers and become a hero onto their tutelage. Although he got a knighthood by the Duchess of Plaza 17, he has been given a chainmaster and a rundown, both forged by the armour, to start his journey into becoming a Mandalorian, and now will be his dad's apprentice. Next episode is about Ahsoka, as it's the halfway point of this series, and it's also going to be about what has been brilliant and what is next for the series. I want to thank Chris Chibnall, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni for creating these interesting characters. I hope you enjoyed this video and want to see more of stuff like this. Comment your thought on this battle, Djarin vs Tecteun, down below. If you liked this episode, please like and subscribe to Phasmas and Djarins. Also follow at Phasmas22 on social media. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Subscribe to Phasmas and Djarins